There's been this massive trend to basically wiping out everything that's woke, like DEI, ESG. Well, now Starbucks is literally backtracking on a policy. Starbucks reverses its open door policy, requiring people to make a purchase if they want to stay. No more just going into Starbucks and hanging out for hours and hours and hours, not making a purchase. You got to actually have some equity in the deal. Yeah, let's get into it. Here we go.
Starbucks is rolling out new changes to its cafes in North America aimed at improving the safety and experience for guests and staff. The company is reversing what is been 7 years, a nearly 7-year-old policy that allowed people to linger or use the bathroom regardless of whether they were purchasing something. And, you can imagine what was going on. New code of conduct signs.
No.
Cafes,
tell us.
And restrooms are for customers, those accompanying them, and employees. I mean, it almost became a place to clean up and, use the facilities.
That was part of the issue.
People were taking off their clothes and, basically showering.
What?
Right.
Showering in the sink and, shooting up. And it's just, nobody needs
They wanted
it.
to be an open and welcoming place. The cafes have always been a place where somebody gets a cup of coffee and maybe stays around and
That was
works
the whole idea of
for-
a third place.
Right. It stays around and works for the day, but clearly when you send out the message that it's open to all and you can use it anytime you want.
It's going to be abused.
We've seen, there was the naked guy in the Starbucks right across the street here.
Oh, hey.
Naked guy this morning right outside, or at least he was naked long enough to do whatever he had to do. Downstairs, yeah. The bathroom right at the entrance. Unfortunately, it's not actually a bathroom.
That's what you get.
A little alcove.
Big Blue,
Yeah.
Liberal City. You want to support this channel? Head on over to reasonabletv.com. It's where we've got additional content like this one. Pimp Shootout. Uber hero saves trafficked woman. That was a wild. This is a Seattle story. A lot of these are Seattle stories. We've also got the illegal immigrant torches New York City commuter, because we've got some, footage there. People on fire. Can't run that elsewhere. What's this going to cost you? It's going to cost you $3.99 a month. Check it out for free. Get a 14-day free trial. Thanks in advance. Back to your regular scheduled program. So let's call it what it is. This is an anti-homeless. This is an anti-drug addict. This is an anti-homeless drug addict move, because you've literally got people going into Starbucks restrooms, shooting up, having sex, changing, washing up, doing whatever. And it's, who would have thought, who would have guessed that would be the end result when you go down this road of, we are so virtuous, we are so woke, we're going to allow anybody to do anything in our restrooms. 7 years goes by, whole woke thing just blows over. I mean, how many DEI big companies have just absolutely, their DEI policy? McDonald's, one of the more recent. Amazon of all companies. Now we've got to get rid of that. Come to find out, DEI might get sued for having some racist stuff on our books. Oh, can't have that. Amazon just got rid of, we're going to protect this class of people. Oh, nope. Let's take that away from our forward-facing website. Can't have that. That's no good. Starbucks is reversing its open door policy after almost 7 years, now requiring that people make a purchase. They want to hang out at coffee shops or use its restrooms. Why is this all of a sudden happening? Because number one, it can, and number two, it needs to happen. Should have never been policy in the first place. Just shouldn't. Because you got Starbucks in a ton of big cities where people are just taking advantage of this, and their employees, they can't handle it. They're just like this. We're not here to babysit the mentally insane. And yet that is what's going to happen. So now Starbucks policy basically allows for employees, somebody isn't purchasing something, they're just hanging out, doing whatever, having sex with a prostitute while shooting up drugs, while making a mess. Now employees can call the authorities and Maybe, by a week from Tuesday, somebody will show up and, it's a big blue liberal city. It's what's going to happen. Coffee Giant said on Monday that a new code of conduct, which will be posted in all company-owned North American stores, will also ban discrimination. Do we have discrimination before or harassment? Okay. Consumption of outside alcohol, smoking, vaping, drug use, and panhandling. You know what? I didn't see consumption of prostitute services. I didn't see sex for sale banned in there. Is that still a go? I mean, you know what I'm saying? Where was I? Oh, my girlfriend and I were at Gasworks Park in Seattle, public park. It's a cool public park. I mean, it's epic. But at one point in time, we were waiting to use the restroom. And this dude goes into one stall and he'd been waiting for a while. And then girl just all of a sudden just came out of nowhere and whoop, just went in there, right in there with him. Like, what do we got going on here? I don't know if they were just, I don't know what the deal was, But you've got stuff like that going on all the time in these areas where you've got a lot of drug use, you got a lot of prostitution, you got people doing crazy stuff, you've got shenanigans. The new rules reverse an open door policy put in place in 2018 after two black men were arrested at a Philadelphia Starbucks where they had gone for a business meeting. Incident at that individual store, which had a policy of asking non-paying customers to leave, was caught on video and was a major embarrassment for the company. Racist. You guys aren't paying. You got to go. Now, for the next 7 years, we're going to allow anybody to do anything they want. We're not going to call the cops. And then come to find out, that kind of policy impacts sales. Oh, you mean people don't want to go into a Starbucks where just crazy nonsense is going on? They don't want to go in and get an overpriced coffee that may not be, what they want, may not be hot, coffee, and have to deal with somebody screaming at them or go to use the restroom and there's a hypodermic needle there. Weird. Or open the door and somebody just getting taken to Pound Town so they can pay for their drugs. That kind of stuff happens all the time. I mean, the folks in the video were like, naked guy out in the street earlier. Change also comes under the new leadership of Brian Niccol, who was hired from Chipotle last year to revitalize the struggling coffee chain. Niccol has vowed to make Starbucks locations inviting places to linger without your local homeless person, without your local drug addict, without hypodermic needles in the sink. Hey, come to Starbucks. With the goal of reestablishing the chain as the nation's community coffee house. I will go to Starbucks. I do not drink coffee. I'm a no-go on coffee. I will go there and get a breakfast sandwich and a green tea, Emperor's green tea, hot. So I don't really need Starbucks in my life, but hey, it's from Seattle, so we support. But, we've got situations here. I just did a podcast, I think it was last week, where one of the downtown Starbucks right across the street from Pike Place Market, where they throw the fish, it closed down. It had been earmarked to close down. And corporate said, you know what? We're reconsidering our options here. And it was a super busy Starbucks and it was making money. But because of where it was located, in one of these locations, big blue liberal city, with shenanigans going on, they opted not to reopen the store. They're just like, nope, we got too many other stores where we're making money. We don't have to worry about our employees getting assaulted. We don't have to worry about people getting into fights. Don't have to worry about the homeless coming in off the streets, because it was in the heart of it. I mean, it was, 3 blocks away from the Blade, which is Pike and Pine in Seattle. Arguably one of the top 2 worst street sections in basically Seattle. So Starbucks spokesperson J.C. Anderson said the new rules are designed to help prioritize paying customers. You mean the people that create profit, the people that pay your bills, the people that pay all your salaries? Now you're going to prioritize them. Okay. All right. So are we saying that we weren't prioritizing paying customers before? Absolutely. And everybody saw that from a million miles away. Oh, don't go into Starbucks. You don't know what's going to happen in there. You have no idea. But will this new code of conduct, will this really change anything? No, because you got nut jobs on drugs running around in these big blue liberal cities. So are they going to go, oh, you've got a new code of conduct, I might get arrested? They could care less. They literally could care less. It's like we've got a section on Aurora in Seattle where you've got a no prostitute zone, a no go for Johns, no go for pimps zone. If you've got a prior no go, do you think the pimps that are having the shootouts on the daily in that area, do you think they're, abiding by the rules? No. Everybody knows that Seattle is a free-for-all, and it shows. Our media stories, it shows. I cover them. In fact, podcasts for days for me, right? So these kind of stories in Starbucks, this is what happens when you go woke. You go broke. And that is what Starbucks is trying to avoid. We want everyone to feel welcome and comfortable in our stores. Well, you should have right from the get-go in the very beginning, and you did, but then you went down this woke deal. Oh, we're just going to allow everybody and anything into our store. It's going to be great. We're all going to sit around and sing Kumbaya and have coffee. And that didn't end up happening, right? And you got new leadership, and the new leadership is saying, we got to do something. We got to get more people into our stores. By setting clear expectations for behavior and use of our spaces, we can create a better environment for everyone. You've already set the precedent. That's the tough part. You've already set the precedent. Hey, you can go into Starbucks. It's like all the criminals down in Orange County who are all of a sudden, wait a minute. Being arrested for felony shoplifting? I thought it was just a misdemeanor. Laws changed, right? Code changed. Now, the homeless do not care. The drug addicts do not care. Prostitutes do not care. They'll get the memo eventually, but it's going to take a while. And, this kind of thing, it's going to come and go. It's not much is going to change. But hey, management can say, we tried. We tried to make it a more inviting, better environment for everyone. According to a company statement emailed to CBS News, coffee chain understands that visitors might need to use the restroom or log into Wi-Fi before making a purchase at the counter. If you don't have enough data on your plan to get through the next 5 minutes as you get your coffee order, what do you do? I gotta log on. I gotta get my phone. I gotta log into Wi-Fi and check my email. No, you're on a coffee break. Don't worry about it. Goal of the new rules is to make its locations more appealing by, again, prioritizing customers. Stores may call law enforcement. Now we're getting somewhere. Now we're talking, right? Code of Conduct warns that violators will be asked to leave and says the store may call law enforcement if necessary. Starbucks said employees would receive training on enforcing the new policy. Training on training for their training on training for their code. Corporate. I would last about a minute in corporate, wouldn't I? Hey! That's not going to work. Be quiet. Management says so. At the time of the 2018 incident, Starbucks Chairman Howard Schultz said he didn't want people to feel less than if they were refused access. How'd that work out there, Howie? And Howie is no longer CEO, but he acts like he is. He's just tweeting out stuff. Hey, we didn't want to become a public bathroom, but we're going to make the right decision 100% of the time and give people the key. There you go. Do whatever you want. Why is that girl with you? Gonna help her clean up? Since then, though, employees and customers have struggled with the unruly and even dangerous behavior in stores. 2022, Starbucks closed 16 stores around the country, including 6 in LA and 6 in Seattle. 6 in Seattle for repeated safety issues, including drug use, other disruptive behaviors that threatened staff. Corporate doesn't want to take on the liability of dealing with absolute nut job. So then they realized, oh my gosh, we don't really within our policy have the ability to call 911. Therefore, we need to do something about this. And that's what this is all about. This is all about optics. And I wouldn't be surprised if you see a bunch more stores closing. Nope, got another incident. No can do. Can't keep this store open. We know it's profitable. It's like the In-N-Out burger. in Oakland. Hey, you got bullets flying through the restaurant, the dine-in portion. You got bullets flying through. That's kind of your sign that no matter what your profit level is, even if you're making a profit, it's not worth it to have one of your employees die, your manager die, or God forbid, if you're a business, one of your customers die. Because you got a bunch of nut jobs running around. This is the bigger problem is leadership within these big blue liberal cities. Because you do not have these stories coming out of better managed cities, towns, whatever. You just don't have that. You don't have the homeless just roaming around with swords, whacked out of their mind on drugs, excavating in parks, digging for gold, mining for diamonds. You don't have that in better run cities where you haven't just let things go. But I guess I should be thankful because if we didn't have leadership that was so poor, I wouldn't have podcasts for days. The trade-off, right? All right. Thanks for being here. I'll catch up with you in the next one. Bye for now.